Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we're going to explore the new Figma UI. So most of the features that will be discussed here are already in the old version of Figma. So we're just going to explore to see the positions of things in the new version. So if you're new to my channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button. So in this tutorial, we're going to quickly explore some of the new updates that were added in the new Figma UI. So to do that, we're going to create a new file. But if you still want to join the AI waitlist and the UI3, you can click on the question mark here at the bottom, and then you can click on join UI3 plus AI waitlist. I've already joined the waitlist, so I get this notification. If this is your first time, you get a notification that you have successfully joined the waitlist. So I'm going to create a new file here. Once this is created, we now have an entirely new UI, different from what we've been using. I think after opening this, I was so confused that I was looking for ruler and I could not find ruler. So now to get started, I'm going to add a new frame here. So this, I'm going to be using the iPhone 14 Pro. So the only reason is because there are some kits I want us to try. That's why I'm picking this particular frame. So here on the assets file here, if I click this, you notice that we have some 3 design systems that were added to every file you create. So we have the material 3 design kits for Android, and we have simple design system that should be generic, and we have the iOS 18 and iPad iOS 18. So but we are going to use that of the iOS. So now I want to add a status bar here. So to do that, all I need to do is to search for status bar. So now this is going to load, and then I'll get a status bar. So if you're working with Android or iOS, you get different options, but you can select a particular one. So but for this, I'm picking the one for iOS. So we also have the option for tablets. So I'm done with that, so we can just adjust this. Once I select this, you notice our positioning has changed from the top. Now somewhere here. I can center this and then push this to the top here. So this becomes a little bit tricky when you are not working with a white background. So let's say I'm using a different color here. Let's say black. Now this, we need to change this to, follow this new color. So we have built-in variants for each of these components here. So to actually see any of this, you can select the icon here where we have the appearance. We have system colors, and we can set this to dark. Now we have this color here, and you can even set that to the default iOS black background. So I can just set that, and then I'll use the dark elevated. So we have this here. But what if you don't want to use the background at all? So all you need to do is to select this, and then at the top here we have the option to check background. So I can just do this, and this is fully transparent. If I drag this outside, let me undo that. If I drag this outside here, you'd see we don't have any background. So I'm going to undo this. I want to change this background back to white. So once I've done that, I can select this and say, okay, we are sticking back to, let's say, auto, which is this light here. But this time the background is transparent. So you can search for other assets here. You can try to use other assets. Let's say bars or bottom bar here. Bottom bar. If you're working with Android, I can just drag this and then drop this here. Now we have this item here, but because of the screen size, you see it's not going to fit in. So you have to just try to do some adjustment to just fit that in. So I'm just mixing this up to see that, okay, we actually have some resources now. We don't have to look for a design system in the Figma community or go to their website. You can actually access them directly in Figma. So let's look at the next feature here. Let's say we have a frame like this. I want to create a button. Let's say I now mistakenly create something like this, and I have hello world, and this is supposed to be my text, or we can just make that to downloads here. So now if you don't want to convert this to an auto layout and you just want Figma to do the magic, we can select this here and then try to click on this icon here. It's just going to fit this item. So you can imagine if you're having containers, other things inside, it's just going to fit in to contain those items. And don't worry about the auto layout because the auto layout is still available in this version. So now we can easily just convert this to an auto layout. To do that, we have an icon here. So this is the icon for auto layout. I'm going to select this and you see we have all our features for the auto layout at the bottom here. So now let's say we are changing the spacing between the left and the right. Then top and bottom we can stick to 4, and we have this button here. And let's look at some of the magic when it comes to creating components. If we want to create component, initially we just have that design somewhere here. I'm going to duplicate this here and let's convert this to a component. I can just quickly come here. You see we have this component sign here, so I can just create a component. And there's something I also discover. Let's say we have multiple of this and I have these 2 buttons here and we want to convert them to components at once. I can highlight them and we have this icon here. When you click this, you'll see create multiple components. So I can just create multiple components and these 2 are going to be independent of each other. So now if I just close this here and I do locals here, click on locals, you see we have the 2, 3, you see we have 2 and then 3 here, and this was the first one we created. So now let's look at other things here like the colors. Yes, we have a colors, so let's add a local color here. To do that, let me just let's say I have some color palettes here, 1 and 2 and 3 here. So having this color palettes, I'm just going to change this to some random colors. This is going to be somewhere here, and we have this 3 colors we want to work with. So I want to add them to my local style. It's still the same thing. You select this and we have our icon here, and we can click on the plus sign here. Then we can have our green or say success. So but if you notice something, we now have variables. We can just quickly add variables from this screen here. So if I have this, I can click this and then the plus sign here, we have variable here. So with one click, we can just come back in here and say, okay, the variable, let's say this is our token. I'll just rename this to red. So we can have a red variable here. So, but if you have been using the tokens in variables, you know that if you have red, you might want to create colors, maybe for the brands where you have the red as danger. Then we can just come in here and let's select this and try to create a variable. So let me rename this to our tokens here, and I'm going to add a new color here. So I'll create this, a new collection. This is going to be brand here. So now coming back here, I can select this and let's say we want to create a brand danger. So this, I'm going to add a new token. So here it's going to be inside brand, but then the color is this red here because that's the one I pointed. So this, we can just change that to danger here. So once we create this, we have our token or our color here, which is the danger. If you go back here and you see variables, you see we have the brand. Under the brand collection, you see we have danger and the value is this red here. So you can switch back to red here and you see we have our tokens here. So these are some of the updates. Just makes it very easy to work with variables. So now aside that, let's see how we can add layout grid. So initially, if you select your item, we have the layout grid somewhere here, but now you have to scroll to the bottom and we have the layout grid here. So we can click on the plus sign and we have our layout grid. So let's just do some simple settings here. Still the same thing. We can select this. This is going to be columns. How many columns do we want? 4. And the width of our margin, I'm just adding 20 here, and we can close this. Now that we have this, let's say you want to add your rulers. Oh, rulers was somewhere here, but now they are somewhere behind our design. So you have to click and drag from the back of that component, and we can just adjust this here. So it took me a while to figure out that they've changed the position of this. I was looking everywhere for that. So we can drag this and drop this here as well. So if you don't have the ruler checked or open in your design, you will have to click on the Figma icon here, go to views and make sure that the ruler is checked. You want to drag from the top here. Yeah, we have that here. in the next video, I'm going to create a complete tutorial on how to build a fintech mobile app using the new Figma UI. So if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button so that when I release the video, you get a notification. Thank you for watching.